Hi, I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin, and welcome to my craft room. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a technique using the new Stampin Positioner tool, my new favourite thing in my craft room. It's a really fun technique, so I'll get the camera turned around and get started. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the mirror technique. And basically it's going to take an image. In this case, we're going to be using the T-Rex, and we are going to make a mirror image of it. It's easier for me to show you than it is for me to kind of explain it. You'll need your Stampin Positioner and a silicone mat. They're the two important things that you're going to need. So as I said, I am going to be using this T-Rex. I'm actually making a Valentine's card. So I've also got Reason to Celebrate, which has got a lovely Valentine's Day greeting and a little happy up there. So we'll use those in a little while. So the first thing that we need to do is to set up the stamps so that we can make the mirror image. So I've got my card blank and my mats and layers. And what I'm going to do, this is the same size as the card front I'm going to use. And it doesn't matter what size it is, but I need to fold it in half so I can position the two T-Rexes nose to nose. Now you don't have to have it so that they're almost touching, but it's one of my favorite things to do. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just, oh, my stamp's sticking to me. I've just folded that in half, and I'm going to line this card up on my grid paper in the corner. Now there is a diagonal positioner, if you like. You can put in your card like this. I like to work portrait or landscape, so I am positioning the card just along this grid line edge, and I'm going to put my little T-Rex just there. So you just pop the positioner on and just press down and lift up. I'm going to ink it up. Let me move that up a bit so you can see it. Ink it up, and I'm just checking to see whether or not this is kind of in the middle of that piece of card. So, oh my word, first time. Look at that. So that's where the score line is. It's right on his nose or her nose. So that's perfect. So my two T-Rexes are going to be nose to nose. Now I'm just going to pop that there just to make sure that the spacing works, which it does. So that's good. So the first step with the mirror technique is to stamp onto the silicone mat. So you're going to position the mat top left-hand corner against those grid lines and make sure to stick it down with the magnets. We're going to ink up the stamp and pop it down, locate at the top, and we'll give it a press. Now I am going to ink this twice just to make sure that we have got plenty of ink on there. Okay. So the whole image is there on the silicone mat. What we're going to do now is get one of our card fronts, and we're going to line this up exactly in the same place as the silicone mat. We're going to pop that down, just pin it down, And then you don't need to re-ink this. We're just using the stamp to help lift up the ink, because it's the reverse, it's the bit that's touching the silicone mat that is going to be the front of the card. So let's just lift that up, move that out of the way. And there we have our lovely T-Rex. So I'm going to pop that back down again. Ink up my dinosaur. And we're going to line it up. Oh, let me just move that magnet a little bit. Move that one up a little bit. It's always a good idea to keep your magnets quite close to the stamp. Give that a good press down. And look at my dinosaurs nose to nose. Right, I am just going to re-ink this. Just give it a little bit of extra definition. There we go. How cool is that? Two nose-to-nose dinosaurs. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually add the sentiment. Now, a top tip that I learnt the other day when I was playing was that this clear plate, this little plate, has got bouncy feet. I don't know what they're called. Bouncy feet on all four sides. So yes, you absolutely can locate it here in the pegs, but you can also use it as a freestanding block to position your stamps wherever you want to. How cool is that? So let me show you how it works. So I'm going to put Valentine's Day just there. Ooh, sticking to my fingers now. Like that. So we can just pop that down. Let me bring that magnet down. And you can just use it as a block. Let's just see how that works. So you don't have to use it located in the pegs. So one of the things that I've already sent an email to Stampin' Up. We need more of these blocks, but we need different sizes. How cool would that be if we had like a big square one? But you can, I mean, obviously I used it on the positioner, but it will work on the table. And look, I'm just going to put my teeny happy birthday. Happy birthday, honestly. Happy Valentine's Day. And look. Ink it up. Ooh. Let's pop it just there. There we go. Happy Valentine's Day. So, what else do I need on here? I need some hearts. I do need some hearts. Now, I think I'm actually going to get a teeny block for this. And we're just going to add some little hearts in the air. There we go. Okay. So we can get on with some colouring in now. Actually, I'll just grab that grid paper to protect that. So I've used Memento ink. I have got my blends to colour in. This is Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to add a little bit of shading there. And then go over those edges. When you're using your blends, normally I use the bullet tip. But sometimes and particularly if I'm doing a lot of actual blending, but sometimes when I'm sort of filling in great swathes of colour, I do use the brush tip. I'm going to go quiet now whilst I'm colouring in. Just giving this all one coat of colour before I actually do some blending. It's a tip that works really well when you've got images like this that need quite a lot of colour. If you put like a base coat down and then go back in and give it more definition, you've kind of started the process. So I'll let you know which colour this is. It's light granny apple green. And what else have I got? I've got lemon lime twist as well. So I think I'm going to use lemon lime twist for his and her spikes, or his and his, or hers and hers. Dark granny. There we go. That's just giving us a little bit more depth of colour there. And on the claws and the nails. These do look quite cuddly T-Rexes though, to be fair. They don't actually look that scary, do they? There we go. That's dark lemon lime twist. Okay, so now I'm actually going to do, let me just lift that up so you can see. Now I'm actually just going to add in a bit more shading around the edges of the dinosaur where there would be sort of naturally a bit more shadow and a bit more shading, and then I'll go back in with the lighter colour. So that's how I always shade. I always go in with the darker colour first and then blend with the lighter colour. I'm not sure which way round is the proper way to do it, but that's the way I do it. There we go. So that's the light. So when you're shading, when you've got when you're shading with your lighter colour, just pull the brush tip in one direction, like little flicks in one direction. And what that does is it softens out the colour. What you don't want to do is scrub backwards and forwards. If you scrub backwards and forwards, you're just moving the ink back and forth and back and forth. And that is no good. Let's just add a little bit of shading on the spikes. And then we'll just have a look at it and just get it matte and layered. I'm just keeping this card really simple because obviously the technique is all about the mirror technique is what this is all about. Now I've realized that my dinosaurs are sort of stood floating in the air, and that's not so good really. So I'm just going to ground them with a little bit of grass, and then I will kind of go over that with a bit of the green as well, just to ensure it does look like grass. There we go. Okay, so what have we got? A little bit of an early espresso layer and a granny apple green layer as well. Oh, and you can see, look, that's where the reverse image was, and because that's a really good indication there of working with blends and making sure you're resting on a piece of scrap paper or grid paper, because they do come through. It shows you how much pigment there is in there. Okay. And there you go, a mirror technique card using the Stampin Positioner. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please do like, subscribe here on YouTube and comment. And if you have any questions about the new Stampin Positioner or anything crafty related, please do leave me a comment. If you pop over to my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, you can see much more creative inspiration there, and you can sign up for my email list as well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.